Yo guys, this is Reinhardt, this is your favorite Russian talking, and today we're gonna be talking about the unofficial Warlock Pressure Master because there are a few changes and I'm starting next to the mobs. The only reason I'm starting here is because I want to show you guys the new kill Jaden's cunning, and it's pretty cunning. It basically gives you spell power back based on the amount damage you take. Now if you guys see these mobs hit me for like 800, 4000 taps, so they don't hit me really hard and my HP doesn't drop that much. And let's see how much spell power I already gained. I gained 1500 spell power. So in PvP conditions, when you're gonna be consistently healed and consistently damaged by a 2 DPS, the kill Jaden's cunning I believe can actually get up to some ridiculous numbers. Now it's already got up to like 2.4k and it's kind of holding up there because I need to get more mobs to attack me actually. So when I'm about to die, let's heal up. Harvest of life and with a soul burn. Okay, I killed a bunch of mobs. My spell power went up to 3.4k, and effectively that is not still 100% updated the gear. It's still a lot of malevolent pieces, but that's probably around like a 12%. Also like a 12 to 13% increase in spell power total. The damage on my agony went to 171k. It's actually 2.5. So I'm gonna just kill this mobs right now, and I'm gonna show you guys how much actual damage on my agony and other dots went up to. So let's cancel the effect out, and it's 141k. So the damage went up to by like 20%. Now the thing about this thing is that it's not only in PvP, I can actually see this increasing our damage by like 30% upwards because it's so damn good. And the amazing portion of it is that in PvP it's really not that much of a difference in PvE, because you have to avoid the damage and it's not going to be like a consistent damage and consistent buffer. But in RBGs, because of dot cleaves or in arena when we're going to get trained, this is actually going to be extremely good talent. So it's probably going to be picked the most because the damage, pure raw damage increase, is going to be extremely good. Okay, so the duel here, I basically don't have anything key behind it, so it's a PTR, who cares about it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna... Okay, so basically I did nothing here, I just took a lot of damage, but let's look at how much spell power I got. I got up to 3500 spell power, which in translation is about 20% DPS increase from the duel. Now that's 1 DPS. Imagine 2 DPS wailing on you and you getting healed at the same time. Kill Jaden Cunnings can actually get up to some really big numbers when it comes to that damage, and I think it will be awesome because right now locks can be tunneled with absolutely 0% payback. There's no drawback in tunneling lock completely, so that will be actually one of those things where you tunnel the lock, you can get a kill, that's perfectly fine, but in return you will get hit really hard as well back. And boy, red paladins do a lot of damage. Holy crap. Okay, there's another thing I want to show you guys really quickly is the new, I guess sort of like a meta change, is a spamming of hunts. It might be actually pretty crazy. So I need to find one guy to duel really quickly. So I'm stopping recording until I find somebody to duel. Okay, and I found somebody to duel. So this is going to be about showing you guys how spamming hunts is actually not a bad idea, because they do actually legitimately a freaking good damage. I have all my procs and it's hits for 67k. So sometimes when you need to get a kill target, you can actually spam that with absolutely no repercussions at all whatsoever, and that is almost fabulous, almost overpowered. So, but that's including with the actual Grimoire of Sacrifice. So in RBGs, we will actually trade off some of those soul burn, soul swaps in a favor of the new hunt, spamming those hunts, because the hunt damage got increased. Anyway, let's talk more about the changes now with the favorite dummies. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the Warlock changes. They buffed our Unstable Affliction and Agony by 10%. Is that a lot? Some people say, what are 10% gonna make a big difference? Oh, that's not a lot. And some people say, oh, it's a really big difference. I think it's actually a pretty considerable difference because my mastery currently is at 55%, and on live I think I'm at like 67% mastery. So this is the way it works with a lot of Affliction Lock's dots right now. The more you buff the base of the ability, the more the higher multiplier it gets from the mastery. So by them buffing 10% of Unstable Affliction, in retrospect they actually buffed the ability by the entire 15% right now here on PTR. But I think on live with the new PvP gear, full set new PvP gear, fully mastery forge and everything, I think that the buffs could be almost doubled, and we could see like a 20% dot damage increase. But that's one of the few changes. Another change would be to a hunt. The hunt now increased dot damage by 45%, and the damage of the hunt itself got increased by like what, 50% I believe. So, and then they nerfed the Malefic Grasp. But guess what? When they nerfed the Malefic Grasp, just because they buffed the hunt damage and they buffed the dot damage themselves, the actual effect, the cumulative effect of Malefic Grasp and the dots proccing off of it was actually almost haven't changed almost at all. It was simply just a shift a little bit back from a Drain Soul towards the actual dot damage. That's the retrospect of the Warlocks that has been changed. But the new meta, I think that the new meta, you know how in the good old days we would like apply everything with a soul swap, spread as many dots as possible, because hey, instant dot application was very OP. Yeah, well, it's no longer going to be the case. I think in 3v3 we should actually apply 3 hunts on the targets, and if we actually manage to pull that off and keep the spread damage, the benefit from the extra hunt would be enormous, like gigantic actually. So in that retrospect, I really like the change, because the likes can actually have an option of either do shit tons of single target damage with the spamming hunts, like spam those 3 hunts in a row. I mean, you guys saw, right? 68k non-crit damage from the hunt with all the procs and stuff, and that's besides the kill-jaiting scanning. With the kill-jaiting scanning, it probably can get up to like 80k non-crit and 180k crits from the hunt. Imagine you spam 3 or 4 of those on the target at the same time. So we either get the option of doing an enormous single target damage via spamming hunts, or do an incredibly good spread pressure while hunting on multiple targets at the same time. Now let's talk a little bit about the talent changes and the glyphs. With new glyphs incoming soon, they're supposed to be decreasing the damage mitigation from Unending Resolve by 20%, but also reducing cooldown by 50% as well. And that's actually will be a very good glyph, because when we're going for a kill target, we'll have to spam a lot of hunts, and we're gonna have to cast a lot of dots, hard casting a lot of dots, not soul swapping them, not soul burn, soul swapping, mainly because, how do I put this? We will need to do that because hunt is so much just got up in on such a high priority list. So popping Unending Resolve, Dark Soul Misery, Activated Trinket, make sure you have your procs and kill-jaiting cunning stacks, you will do a lot of damage, incredible amount of damage. And while you're spamming those hunts, you want to be uninterruptible, so that's when you want to pop Unending Resolve. So Unending Resolve gonna have its own niche in terms of being like an extremely offensive auto mastery, believe it or not. Now with the kill-jaiting scanning, it's a beautiful talent, I like it a lot. By the way, don't look at this is shit. Demonic Breath, I need to play with it, but I don't think it's actually worth it. The cooldown is a little bit too long, the snare is subpar, Mortal Coil or Shadow Fury probably gonna be better. How baseline is always nice, very nice. Now in terms of the talents itself, Sacrificial Pack doesn't work all that great with the Archimonde's Vengeance. Why? Well, a simple answer will be actually because you mitigate damage while you're getting trained from a Sacrificial Pact, and at the same time the Archimonde Vengeance is not gonna proc. On the other hand, Dark Bargain is gonna be somewhat mediocre talent because you don't take any damage while getting trained, and then you take 50% of the damage back and it's also going to be reduced by like resilience, so it's like double dips from it. So it's going to be in retrospect pretty decent, but again, not that great. But the souling is actually going to be a little bit better. Do you believe me or not? Okay, well, if you don't believe me, let's take a look at it. I'm going to take Grimoire of Supremacy. I am going to get a Shivara. Where's my freaking there it is. There's my eye. There's my skirt, motherfucking pet. Freaking G. Okay, and we're gonna take a Soul Link. The thing about Archimonde Vengeance is whatever damage does dealt to you and your pet at the same time. So in that retrospect, once you pop your Soul Link and it double dips and you and your pet take damage, guess what? You're gonna get a really good amount of Archimonde's Vengeance stacks. So Soul Link is still not a great talent defensively, but it can be actually picked offensively at the same time. Another thing is, Grimoire of Sacrifice is gonna go down on a priority / tier list because again of Archimonde's Vengeance. Because even in RBGs, even if you're not running Soul Link, even if you say you're running a Dark Bargain in rated battlegrounds, you still want to see or have your pet around. Why? Because when your pet dies, it's extra damage buffed to you as well. Think about it this way. You can actually like use a Soul Burn, summon your pet, or Hardcast, summon your pet, and you can use your pet not, well, for a portion of its utility, yes, but for a damage buff. Ridiculous, huh? Like, send your pet to die, get that extra damage buff. From a pet alone, you should be able to get roughly about like 1200, 2000 like spell power, 1700 at the very least. 1700 spell power you should be get from your pet dying. And guess what happens from that? You got it. You're gonna get extra damage. So offensively, Lux got a really big buff. Unfortunately, defensively, we got a big nerf as well because the 10% baseline damage mitigation is gone. So in my retrospect, they need to come up with some sort of a mitigation for Lux because they did nerf our Demonic Gateway and they did nerf our baseline damage mitigation. So I'm still waiting, but they need to come up with something. But on the other hand, training Lux will be more unforgiving than it used to be before because again of Killgenering Scanning. It's amazing. It's worth it. It's better than Monoro's Fury, or it's better Archimonde's Vengeance. It's better than Killgenering Scanning. Yes, you can cast Malefic Grasp while moving, but who gives a shit about that when you get extra damage mainly for your dots? So that's a really good, nice, sneaky way of buffing it as well. So that's it for this Pressure Master. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. And yeah, next week we'll be streaming so you guys can see some of my gameplay. Thanks for watching and do svidaniya!